Hey everybody, this is Maureen from High Point Reiki and Readings. I am freshly showered because I go back to work on Monday. But this is my first visual edition of the High Point Reiki cards. Both of the decks are handmade, and I've decided to do it in a pick a card kind of deal. And I chose animals that represent, in the general world, animals of wisdom. So, and you can see I've already shuffled and drawn the cards. So we have this cute little owl. So if you resonate with this owl here, then you want to watch the segment about the owl cards. And then we have this awesome dragon. He is a little precarious with how he stands, but he's still awesome. So choose your cards now, or your animal of wisdom, and I'm going to tune in, and then we'll read the cards together, and I'll tell you what impressions I get from the cards. Okay? So I will be right back to start the owl segment. Hello, for those of you that chose the owl. We are now going to reveal the cards that are in that energy, representative of that energy. Sorry, I gotta move the guy so I have space to show you all the cards. So I have two of my very hand-drawn kindergarten style, because if there's one thing I'm not, it's a visual artist. So, but the two cards, and I have tuned in with my guides. So the two cards that come up for you here from this deck, oh, that's a little glary, isn't it? Are creativity, and I'll show you a closer look, despite the fact that they are not very. And find the lesson. Sorry about the little ring there. Oh, there you go. I think that's all right. So what I'm getting from these cards in particular is that they're pushing you towards doing something very creative, but you should keep it private, because the whole point of it, I mean, if you want to release it later, you can, but for right now, keep it private and just, write, draw, take pictures of things, design yourself a cool outfit, do some cool makeup on yourself, stuff like that. Whatever it is that gets your creative juices flowing. And what I feel like is, if you do this, as you're doing this, you're going to see patterns about yourself emerge that you may not have been aware of. So, like if something doesn't go perfect and you get frustrated, and that happens over and over and over again, I'm very sorry about the light. That's something you need to pay attention to, because this creative export is trying to clue you in onto those things, because creativity is generally something we do out of joy and expression. And if we can't even express ourselves without frustration, we need to look at that, and it's a much safer, and again, if you do this privately, it's a much safer way to reveal those things about yourself and then look more deeply into them. So I think that sums up these little white cards: creativity and find the lesson. Do something creative to see what kind of patterns emerge, and then take a look at whether those are patterns that can be corrected or patterns that you're okay with. They may just be patterns that you're okay with, because it could be that when you get frustrated, it pushes you to try harder or go further. And so don't think that every pattern that comes up that feels negative at first is negative, okay? So just keep that in mind while you're doing the creative things. Okay, so I have two of these cards. these are cards, these are all pictures I took and haikus that I wrote. So just to explain the decks, if this is my first video, so I want to explain everything. um, so this one with the little gosling on it, it says, when you feel too small to accomplish any change, promise arises. And this toad one, this is one of my favorites because that's an amazing toad. I'm sorry if you don't like toads, but he's amazing. Or she. It could be a she, I'm not sure. Though your bumps may show, it will be your majesty that will emanate. So with these two together, well, we'll go one at a time. So with the little gosling, what I think it's saying here is just because you feel small, just if there's a situation that comes up where you feel small or you feel like you're not making any impact, that doesn't mean you stop. That doesn't mean you don't go forward with, if it's something you're passionate about or something you feel is very important, keep going. And then if you keep putting in that effort, that's the line, promise arises. That means something is going to change. Someone's going to see you and say, you know what, I agree with them. You know? Someone's going to hear what you're saying or see what you're saying and say, you know, they make a lot of sense to me. Maybe we should look at that. Maybe, and it doesn't have to even be a cause. It could just be a procedure at work that you have a better idea for how to make it more efficient. Or, you know, it could be a conversation you're having with someone about something that's important to you and they're just not listening to you. That doesn't mean you should waste a bunch of energy trying to get them to listen to you. But it also means don't be afraid to bring it up again. If you're conversing with them and an opportunity arises where you could say, that's like that thing I was talking about the other day. You know? Just don't give up. Don't be forceful. Like, I feel like the youth expressed in this picture and in this card says, you know, don't bite off more than you can chew, but also don't stop, right? And then this majestic toad is also about, you know, you may not be perfect, but that doesn't mean you're not majestic. That doesn't mean you're not amazing. That doesn't mean you're not something to be marveled at. And I think these two actually go together because I think you're going to try to express whatever this thing is initially, and it's going to feel like it fell very flat. And I feel like your insecurity may lead you to a place that says, you know what, I'm probably not the person that can convince them of this. I'm probably not the person that can get this in motion and get it to happen. And this card is telling you that's not true. Like, just try again. Try in a different way. Try a couple different angles. You know, just, you know, if you see an opportunity, like I said on this card, to bring it up again, and, you know, when you've had a chance to run it through your head again and say, oh, you know, what I actually would have said if I had the chance to say it again is this. Well, keep that in tab in your head because it's probably going to come back. Because that's what I feel like part of the message is here. It's going to come up again. And you're going to have another chance to say, you know what, I probably didn't say it the right way before. You don't even have to say that though. Just say, it's like I was saying, da 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 da. And it could be this time, this combination of words you chose just like hits that resonant place in the person's head and they go, oh, okay, I see what you mean now. And yeah, that does make a lot of sense. So don't be afraid to keep pushing and don't be afraid to, you know, and I also feel like this creativity card comes in here because, you may need to think of another way to express what you're trying to say, and find the lesson. You may need to figure out what's your best way of communicating, or it may be a matter of, if this is like to a boss or an authority in your life, how do I say it to them in a way that they'll listen to me, right? So anyway, that are the impressions I get from these cards. I hope that provides you good guidance in the week ahead. And now we are going to move to the dragon set of cards. So stay tuned if you picked the dragon. And we're back with the wonderful precarious dragon. Both of the items today were gifts from friends. So thank you to those friends who gave me these wonderful, beautiful things. I love them both. I have no good way to sit him on the table either, because he's very precarious, but I still love him very much, and I hope you do too. But let's get on with the cards. This is the dragon set, so to speak. So, okay. All right. This one, I think, involves a little tough love. And I don't know if it's going to be, maybe it'll come through as I'm talking about it, but I don't know if it's going to be you showing tough love to someone else or someone else showing tough love to you. But this card is called Coffee Talk. Look at that stellar coffee cup. This is about, you have something difficult you need to discuss with someone. And you feel like, I feel like I'm getting here, this is something that you've tried to broach before with them, and they did not register it at all. It did not sink in. And so you're seeing a pattern repeat, and it's driving you crazy. You have to have another talk with them. That's what you got to do. But just do it in a loving, caring, warm atmosphere / way. I know I said tough love, but what I mean by that is, if you're talking to them and they say, I don't do that, say, you do though. And I want to know why. And I want to see if I can help you not do that anymore. Because you're going to push away people in your life that you're really going to miss. Just be straightforward. It's not mean to be straightforward. It is mean to say something, unless this is how you talk to the person, but it is mean to say something like, yeah, you're a total bitch and I'm beginning to hate you. Like, don't go there, at least not right away, unless that's how you talk to each other. Some people have that relationship. I'm not judging it. It's cool if you're free like that. But, so the coffee talk card means you're going to have a tough discussion with someone, or someone may have a tough discussion with you. And if you find yourself in that situation, I feel like the first reaction, whether you're the subject or the leader of the little meeting, whether you're the one telling or you're the one being told, do not disturb usually means rest. Usually means, withdraw. And I feel like that applies here. But I also feel like just be prepared that whether it's you or someone else that is getting the tough talk, it's not going to probably go over as well as you want it to. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't express yourself to them, because what's going to happen is you're going to be unburdened by telling them these things. You're going to say, you know what, I got to draw a line here. I got to make a boundary. If you're going to keep doing this thing, I don't know what our future looks like. It's not going to be the same though, something along those lines, and keep it peaceful. And if they start arguing or getting flat out. Because what I really think it is between these two cards, someone is exhausted. Whether it's you or someone else, they are absolutely exhausted. And it could be physically, and it could be emotionally, and it could be both. So if they start snapping at you, just remember, they're exhausted by something. So if you have that reaction, or if they give you that reaction, because you can't control what a person does if they're talking to you, but I'll get back to that. There is something you can control. But if you're talking to someone and they start resisting, because that's what it is, it's resistance. They're trying to make it uncomfortable so it will end. Because if you're uncomfortable, then you're not going to want to talk about it anymore, right? But it's important to talk about it. It's very important because, we have so much of withdrawing from people. We just withdraw. We just disappear from their lives, where maybe, and this is entirely dependent on your situation and your energy, if you can stay and help them, wouldn't that be great? And you could have that person back to the way they were, or closer to that, or help them find the person who can get them there. Like, wouldn't you rather do that than just be like, you know what, I'm out. It's been nice knowing you. Because you're going to miss them too. You are. That's just a fact. But, if you're the person getting the talking to, because that's possible, if you're that person, you may need to tell the person who's talking to you, be honest, be open, say, you know what, I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted because of this and that. And, try to be honest. So if they come back and say, well, if you didn't do XYZ, you might not be so tired. Be willing to receive that and say, you know what, I see what you're saying. And can you help me not do that as much, So just engage in a constructive conversation. And if someone gets confrontational, resistant, just say, you know what, I love you. Well, depending, if it's a coworker, maybe don't say I love you, but I love you and I want to help you because I know this isn't who you are, and I know that something's wrong, and if there's anything I can do to help you stop doing this and stop having the burdens you have on you, then let me know, So that's what I get from these cards. And then these, oh, see, these actually, I didn't look at all the cards beforehand because I wanted it to be, but this is wonderful. The light that shines through beckons to not just your eyes, but also your heart. So make sure you focus on that whenever you're in this tough discussion, whether you're the host or the recipient. Look at the person who's saying these things to you. If you're the recipient, look at them and say, wow, they're really frustrated. They're really upset. Maybe I should evaluate myself and oh, they're bringing me back to a card from before, so I'll say that at the end. Maybe I do need to take a longer, harder look at this and figure out how to fix it, But if you are the host, just, get into that place of like, I really like this person and I don't want them to suffer and be upset anymore. So let's figure out what's going on together and let's see what we can help them with together. And then this card, the simple moments of love and tender caring can fulfill deeply. I believe this means that they will eventually, maybe not in the actual coffee talk, but eventually they're going to look back at it and say, you know what? It was really nice of you to come and talk to me and worry about me and to check on me and make sure I was okay and get me back on the right path. But the other thing I wanted to say, something else came through about these two cards. Do not disturb and rest. If someone says, you know what, I'm getting really upset by this conversation and I really need a break, let them have a break. And if you get through the whole thing and then they withdraw from you for a couple of days, leave them alone, because they're thinking. They're thinking about it. They're processing what you just told them. You can't expect an overnight change. So, but just do this in the meantime. Just be caring and loving towards them, to reiterate the fact that you care about them and you do want to support them and you do want to help them, you know. Don't be pushy about it. Just, you know, if they ask you for help with something, you know, whatever you can do. Just don't be pushy about it. And then just keep focusing on the beautiful parts of them. And also, what they're saying is focus on that aspect of yourself as well. Like, remember, you're not a mean person. You're not an evil person. You're not a petty, hateful person. Not when it's important, at least. So, you know, just make sure it just feels like there's someone in your life, and it may be you, or it may be someone you know, that has some big burden they're carrying, and they haven't asked for help yet. And I think that's the whole of this message here. If you see someone in that situation, you should go to them and say, I see that you're really struggling. I see that you've been very grumpy lately. You've been a little short with people. I want to know what's going on, and I want to know if I can help. You know, if it's you, something you can do to, if you feel uncomfortable with a confrontational kind of talk with somebody, something you can do is go to whoever is important to you and that needs to know about it and say, you know, I really want to talk to you. I've been struggling with whatever it is for a really long time, and I feel like I'm becoming overwhelmed by it, and it may be affecting my behavior. It may be affecting all sorts of things. And if that's the case, I want you to let me know, and then hopefully we can speak together about a solution. So that could be something you could do. Maybe that's a whole new version of the coffee talk. Owning up to it and saying, you know what? I feel horrible and I want to feel better. So can you help me with that? So that ends the dragon reading. If you enjoyed it, feel free to, I think we're supposed to say like and subscribe, right? I'm new to this whole YouTube thing. So like and subscribe, and if you know anybody that might benefit from it too, don't be afraid to share it with them. And I'm going to try to do this once a week, but I have a very hectic life, so I cannot promise you that, but I will try very hard to do that. And I have loved sharing my cards and the insight from my guides, and I will see you again next time. Have a beautiful week ahead. Bye.